Fetch! I am Ellen, the dog trainer, your resident dog trainer, with this month's Fetch Facebook Live. Say that fast 3 times. I hope everything's been going well for you. We have had so many disasters in our country, man-made and Mother Nature, and my heart goes out to all of you who have been affected one way or another, whether it's been directly or indirectly. All of us at Fetch, we care about you, we care about your pets, and we hope you're doing okay. So I'm actually going to do a monthly tip on some things to think about in the event of a disaster. Not just the one that we did about being prepared, but some other things. So look for that monthly tip. So I've got Skittles with me today.
Taco boy.
Wearing his taco. You might see my notes for today's Facebook Live. But last August, we did our Facebook Live, and it was all about getting prepared for Halloween. And you might remember Skittles was not with me at that time, but I picked out a taco costume. So, Skittles, we've done a little preparation and getting him comfortable wearing it. What'd you think there, Shuggy? He's interested in some loose dogs up there. But so he is ready for Halloween. I hope you guys are too. And check out the Facebook Live. It's in the archives. It's on the Fetch Facebook corporate page. Take a watch. It's like 30 minutes long, but there's some really good tips in there, and there's some suggestions on costumes and whatnot. So anyway, let's get to our fun topic for this month, and that is talk to the animals. And that's today's topic is really all about how we talk to them. And I'm not just talking about our voices, I am talking about our bodies. You guys have heard me say this more than once. It's a little motto. I certainly share it with all of my clients. And it is, dogs read our bodies, not our minds, and they hear our voices, not our thoughts. Say it with me, guys. Dogs read our bodies, not our minds. They hear our voices, not our thoughts. And not just dogs, all animals, really. Because they don't speak, whatever verbal language we do, but they certainly are experts. They're experts at reading what we are telling them with our bodies. And certainly the more time they spend with us, they get to know the tone of our voice as well. So as you guys know, I am a positive reinforcement trainer. That means I do not advocate the use of punishment or something that might be aversive to the dog in order to teach them what it is I want them to do. And aversives can come by the way of our voice and our body language. So when we are working with our animals, and when we're talking to our animals, when we're standing next to them, I want you guys to start thinking about, what is your body communicating? So I know a whole lot of you out there, we're probably thinking, well, when I say hello to a dog, I do this, right? Oh, can I touch your dog? Can I say hi to your dog? And we stick our hands right in their face, or we pet them over their head. And for a dog, that can be very invasive. Our body language is not telling them what our mind is saying, which is, oh, I'd like for us to get to know each other. All they're seeing is this hand coming towards them. And if they're Skittles is not sensitive to my hand coming towards him, as you can tell. He's like, yeah, Mom, what do you need? In fact, he has a good cue with his hand in front of him. Touch. Yep, thank you. Good job. So when you say hello to a strange dog, just stand tall like a tree. They are super close enough to you to gather all the information that they need. They can smell you, they can see you. They do not need for you to loom over them, because that sends a completely different message. That's not a friendly message at all. That's a scary message for a lot of dogs. So think about your body position in relation to the dog that's in front of you. Certainly if it is a strange dog. Now a lot of folks will say, if you get down low, well, that can certainly help. Certainly to the side can make a difference, but then what happens? Then you have to stand back up. And that can be really hard for our animals. So even though your first intent is to be kind and think about, well, let me just get a little lower, sometimes we don't think about the next step, and that is to pop back up, and that can be kind of scary. So with the strange dogs, just stand tall like a tree. If you do want to pet them, and if it's okay to pet them, we've talked about this before, you want to go under or to the side, and then just pet for a little tiny bit. Skittles is checking out what's going on up there. We're in a lovely park. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California in the San Pedro area. Super, super nice. You know, I've got some really awesome, fun puppy clients right now. And of course, those puppies, they love to go after stuff, shoes and underwear and t-shirts and whatever else is out there. When they do, it's really just kind of natural for us to go, ah, wait, and chase after them to get whatever it is that they've just gotten. But what the puppy sees is game on. They see, you know, this other being chasing, and we know dogs, most dogs like to chase or be chased. Many do, I should say. And so that can certainly sometimes turn into a game. So think about what you are communicating, even though your mind may be thinking, oh, no, please don't do that. I don't want you to have that. Puppy may see it as, yay, they're playing with me, awesome. Same thing with your hands. If you have a tendency to use your hands in play, right, like this, thinking that it's real fun. I know a lot of my guy clients, they like to play kind of rough with the dogs and doing a lot of this. I know I talk with my hands. You guys see that all the time, right? That can be kind of crazy for some of our dogs. In fact, I've really got a really neat dog, Luna, and boy, did she help me learn really early in our communication that I talked with my hands a lot, because she was like, hey lady, you know, what's going on here? If you use your hands in play with your dogs, especially your puppies, they're going to get mouthy because they just see something moving and they like to grab onto whatever's moving. So be mindful, and I would say don't do that. Don't use your hands in play. There's really no reason for it. I know, you know, Fetch has got such a great staff of dog walkers out there, taking your dogs out for a walk, which is fantastic. We've talked before about the leash and what it means, what it can communicate to our dogs. I've got the nice long leash for Skittles today. Think about what your body language, when you're telling the animal to, like, hey, I'd like to hurry up and move along my walk. Are you tugging at him? You know, are you pulling at him? Would you do that if you were walking with your friend or your spouse or your sibling? You would be like, hey, come on, you know, every 5 minutes if they stopped. You would be probably a little bit nicer, like, hey, let's keep going, you know, or maybe you tap them on the shoulder, like, are you done yet? Can we keep going? I want you guys to really think about communicating to your dogs via that leash when they're out on their walk. You know, I have this other saying, and that is, it's their walk. You're responsible or you're in charge, but it's their walk. And they love to smell. They love to experience the environment. They love to gather all that information. And you've heard me say this before, it tires them out. It tires them out as much as a physical, you know, high endurance run, really, in a different way, in a much healthier way. So let them have those smells. And when it's time to move on, don't be a bully. Don't jerk at them. Don't scold them or holler at them. Just, you know, gently tug at the leash. I'm not going to do that now because Skittles is being really awesome and just hanging out here with me while we do this Facebook Live. So I do not want to signal to him that I want him to move. I'm very happy that he's staying put. So think about that. A lot of folks have a tendency when you have asked your pet to do something that, especially if it's a stay, or if you need them to sit right away, you think that if your tone is sharper or louder or more firm, that will cause the behavior to happen. And they may get used to just waiting for you to sound like that before they sit or before something happens, but you don't need to speak to them that way. Skittles is staying put here. There's a guy walking up there with his dog. He's looking, so I'm going to ask him to stay. Skittles, stay. Thank you. I noticed he turned around at me. I didn't have to be firm. I didn't have to yell it. I didn't have to say it multiple times. I could probably drop leash and step back. Thank you, Shug. That was really super nice. I'm going to reinforce that with some food. I'm going to give him a nice little treat for staying put. So when you ask for those sits or downs or stays or touch or come or whatever, think about the tone of your voice. You do not have to be harsh. You do not have to be mean. You don't even really have to yell. In fact, I will bet you that your dog or your cat or whatever animal you're working with has already picked up on a body cue before you even say the verbal. Bet you $1 million on that one. Wouldn't you say so, Shuggy? Probably, right? So think about that. Now, when you are teaching them a new behavior, there are a couple of different ways that we can do that. One of the easiest ways is we can lure them. We can take a treat or something that they smell. Food is usually the easiest to use a lure with. And let's say I want Skittles to watch me, although he's looking at me right now, but let's say he didn't. What I could do is I could take that treat to his nose and I would bring it up to my eyes. I would lure him to look at me. So that way, that's one of the ways we can talk to them. We can use their nose, we can take a treat, and we can lure them into position. So let's say I want him to just do a little circle here. Thank you, and a sit. Thank you, that's so nice. Let's say you're teaching your dog to sit. Let's go take the treat to the nose, kind of move it back behind their head like that. I was a little sloppy, and Skittles may feel a little weird with his taco outfit on. But what you'll do is you'll just take advantage of their nose being such a great machine and lure them into a position. If you're going to lure them into down, you might form like the letter L with your treat, and that will put them into a down. It's a little bit much to get into the Facebook Live, but that is one way to talk to them, is to use some food, lure them by putting it to their nose and luring them into position. It's a great way, an easy way to teach some of the very basic behaviors. Another way to talk to your animals is to let them know, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And because you've done that, I'm going to give you some reinforcement. I'm going to give you a treat, or I'm going to give you a toy. And that's what we call marking. And you know, Erica, I'll send you a link to some articles about understanding how to mark behavior. Some of you guys may have heard of clicker training, or using a clicker when you're training, or a reward marker. My clients will use the word yes or yip, and that lets the dog know, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. When you pair that with the behavior that you're asking for, like for example, Skittles touch, yip. Oh, I said it a little early. I'm a little too eager in my Facebook Live today. Thank you, sir. Let's try that again. Touch, yip. You hear me say yip. That says to him, oh, yep, that's what mom is looking for. So it's a great way to communicate to your animal. It really opens up that channel so they understand exactly what it is that you're looking for when you're teaching those new behaviors. Do we have any questions, Tony?
Just Fetch posting, think about what you are communicating, even though in your mind you are thinking about something else.
Yeah, totally. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly it. You know, and it's a great example. Like some of my clients that I work with where the dogs are reactive. You know, they are rah, 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 and they're pulling on the leash, and they're lunging, and they're growling, and it looks like they really want to go after that thing. They want to get close to that thing. But for, I would say 99% of those dogs, they do that behavior because they want that thing to go away. They want some distance created. And the example that I give is, you know, if two people are fighting, and you know, you might see that person, they puff out their chest and they go forward, right? While they say, get the heck out of here. So their mind is, I would like some distance. I want distance between us. But their body language communicates something different, right? It's pushing that person away. So the same thing can happen actually with our dogs. That's why our leash is super, super important. We'll go back to that for a little bit. So Skittles is away from me. Instead of pulling him, he's like, no, Mom, I'm ready to go. So let's do this. Let's do an example of COME, okay? Lots of people want to say, you know, come in a very loud, you know, demanding way. The second thing that they will often do is to stand facing the dog. Come. Well, he's not going to respond to that because A, my body language doesn't communicate movement to him, and B, I never say come to him in that way. There's no reason to. When you ask for your dog to come to you, think about it as an invitation to a party. You would invite somebody to come and join you by being friendly and by being up and by being inviting, not demanding. So let's see if he'll do it. Sugar, you gonna show me proud? Skittles, come. Yep. So I said, yep. Letting him know, yep, that's exactly what it is I wanted you to do. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So think about that. Think about when you ask your dogs to come to you. Following that, make sure that play doesn't end. If you've asked your dog to come to you, even though in your mind you're like, gosh darn it, dog, you know, I've only got 20 minutes and it's already half an hour and we gotta go, even though you're got all that frustration, try and keep that to the side. Be friendly, have them come to you, and don't immediately end play, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to start to think, I'm not going to mom or I'm not going to dad, because every time I do, they put the leash on me and play ends or whatever happens. And so think about when you ask for that behavior, to let them go back out and maybe play a little bit, or maybe you guys go for just a short little walk before you get back in the car. Thanks, Shug. What you thinking? You look like you're thinking something. So Fetch, we're going to close today on our talk, talking with the animals. Think about your body language. Think about your voices. Think about how you are communicating and what it is that you're communicating. Remember, they read our bodies, not our minds, and they hear our voices, not our thoughts. I am Ellen, the dog trainer, your resident dog trainer, with this month's Facebook Live, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next month. Thanks. Bye.